This is 5 on your side at 10. Focused on you.
We found blood evidence at the hotel, and we found blood evidence in the view.
Tonight, an all-out search for the body of a missing Quincy, Illinois woman. Investigators say she was last seen days ago at a hotel in St. Charles, and tonight they assume the worst. Good evening, I'm Brent Solomon, in for Kelly Jackson. What began as a missing persons case in Quincy, Illinois, is now a homicide investigation led by St. Charles police. Police tell us their suspect is dead, and now officers are looking for his wife's remains. New tonight, Robert Townsend is tracking the investigation.
Police say on December 12th, surveillance cameras captured video of Brittany Hoffman Kelly and her husband, Chadwick Kelly, checking into a hotel in St. Charles. 6 days later, investigators say the Quincy, Illinois man left the hotel along Highway 370 without his 33-year-old wife.
Investigators from the St. Charles City Police Department went to the hotel, started processing the room that they had been staying in and reviewing video surveillance. At the time that he checked out, we never saw Brittany again in any more surveillance video.
Police in Quincy, Illinois say Brittany was last heard from on December 14th.
No one from her friends or family have been in contact with her since she had checked into the hotel in St. Charles. We found blood evidence at the hotel.
Evidence police believe is connected to the woman's death.
Do you believe she was killed at that hotel?
I do.
Strangled, shot to death?
I can't comment on that until we're able to locate a body.
Police say Chadwick Kelly was previously in prison for a home invasion in Quincy. He was sentenced in 2015 to 23 years in prison, but was released on parole.
He was wanted by authorities at the time of this crime, and it's my understanding that he was kind of bouncing around different areas trying to avoid detection by law enforcement.
Quincy investigators say on December 20th, Chadwick Kelly was killed in a police standoff in Lewis County, Missouri, about 3 hours from St. Louis. Kelly allegedly held a woman against her will. She got away, but police say Kelly fired numerous rounds from inside the home toward officers. They say he then ran off with a gun, and members of the Missouri State Highway Patrol fired their weapons. So at this point, detectives are crisscrossing multiple counties, including right here in St. Charles County. Even though the suspect is now dead, they tell me this case is wide open.
We're not confident of where it is at this point.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And if you know anything about this case, call the St. Charles Police Department. Tonight, St. Louis police searching for a woman who disappeared 10 days ago. Officers believe Deja Lucas was last seen in Sunset Hills near Gravois Road. They're hoping K-9 units will help find her, but they need more information on her last whereabouts. If you've seen her, police ask that you contact the Missing Persons Unit. That number is 314-465-0984. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page files an appeal against a ruling that gave the governor power to appoint the next prosecuting attorney for the county. It's the latest move in a legal battle now going on for a month. Page and Governor Mike Parson picked their own nominees for the position. Page chose Court Van Ostrand. Parson picked Melissa Price Smith. A judge ruled the governor has the power to make that replacement. A court order barred Page from taking any more steps to fill the vacancy. Tonight, a teenage boy is recovering in the hospital after being shot in North St. Louis. It happened around 10:30 this morning near Belt and Clemens Avenue. Officers found that 14-year-old shot in Ivory Perry Park. They're investigating what happened. No word on any arrests. Alderwoman Shamim Clark Hubbard is calling for more police patrols and even cameras in that park. Weather impact now, we're staying damp and dreary for the next few days, and it looks like that cold air is coming back soon. Gary Frank is here to tell us when we'll finally see those temps below freezing.
Yeah, it may not be till January, which is sooner than later, of course, but we're going to enjoy the weekend first here as we look ahead. No fog on this particular camera doesn't mean it doesn't exist, even though we're starting to see a few light showers here and there. As we show you just one little thin line that stretches all the way from really the Franklin County line all the way into the Metro East from north of Bethalto into Bunker Hill. You're seeing a light line of showers that push over the interstate right at 170, 270 near the airport. and all the way back down to Pacific. That's where those showers continue to sit. But as far as temperatures are concerned, you're seeing them still very mild for this hour. 55 degrees. It is very, very mild, and we're still way above average. There are pockets of fog and patchy, dense fog in some cases. At least we're seeing a lot of 10-mile visibility. That's important because that's our full visibility. Not out of the question that through the next hour we'll see a pop-up shower. But overall, it is drying out as we head into the weekend. But the rain returns, but we stay mild this weekend. So you don't need those layers now. But like I mentioned, you need them as you ring in the new year. We'll talk about the timeline for that and those changes as we head into the weekend.
Tonight, an emotional interview, a mother's plea for justice. The father of her children now accused of killing their son on Christmas Eve. Our Justina Cornell caught up with the victim's mother in Cedar Hill earlier today as she finalizes plans to lay him to rest.
At Chapel Hill Funeral Home in Cedar Hill.
Your child's supposed to bury you, not you bury your child.
There's a mother grappled with grief. Catherine Ward finalized plans for her son's unexpected death, 26-year-old Kevin Ward.
Kevin was my go-to person.
Ward cherished Kevin, the oldest of 4, and Kevin was excited. He was expecting a child of his own.
A senseless act took my baby away from me, that I will never see him walk through my door and say, Mom. I will not get to have birthdays, Christmas, holidays. I'm going to have to be the one sit there and hold his baby for the first time because he won't be able to.
This is after Kevin and his pregnant fiancee visited his dad, Harold Lester, at his High Ridge home on Christmas Eve. According to court records, Lester thought Kevin's mom had cheated on him and accused Kevin's fiancee of withholding information. They said Kevin tried to de-escalate the situation. That's when police say Lester grabbed his gun and eventually shot Kevin.
He was ultimately going to shoot Kevin's fiancee. And Kevin sacrificed. He was the hero that night.
Catherine denies the cheating and described her on and off again relationship with Lester as abusive.
I honestly believe Kevin didn't think his father would ever do something like that to him.
But you always felt that he was capable.
I always felt it was coming. I always thought it was going to be me.
The future without Kevin is hard to picture, yet it's clear her love for her son motivates her to get justice.
My son cannot breathe. My son cannot walk. My son cannot see. My son is not here no more. Why should he get the pleasure sitting, even though it's a jail cell, he's still alive. And I want him to suffer every day of that memory.
Justina Cornell reporting. Tomorrow, family and friends are gathering at Cliff Cave Park for a candlelight vigil. Kevin's baby is expected to come in June. There is a GoFundMe set up, and if you'd like to find it, you can look on KSDK.com in the As Seen on TV section. Still ahead, finding new homes and new families. A look at Adoption Day over at the Madison County Courthouse.
We're being adopted. This is Dad and this is my mom. We found our missing piece.
And who's your missing piece?
Dozens of kids found their forever families at the Madison County Courthouse. It's Adoption Day. There were screenings, court date assignments, and much more for prospective parents, and many were able to add a new member to their family. A lot of these kids come from traumatic backgrounds, but today's the day where everyone leaves happy.
This is a happy ending to some difficult life stories and the beginning of some, we hope, very much different happy stories instead of sad stories.
Now, the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services still has about 2,800 kids in care, and they're all looking for permanent adopters. Weather Impact Now meteorologist Gary Frank working hard in the Weather Center. You know, we haven't needed that heavy coat for a while, Gary.
I know, it's been a while, and I think we're going to pinpoint next Tuesday night. last night of the year, but right now it's foggy in Old Town Forest, and you can see that. It's illuminating the colors pretty nicely as part of this fog, low-level cloud cover that's dominated our weather for the last few days. And as this rain has exited, you can see that we have that line of storms that produce severe weather in parts of the southeast. That's another bullseye target for tomorrow as we see our next system that arrives. However, for us right now, we have a few showers that are hanging around, really from Pacific all the way up to Alton, and there are some sprinkles that are hanging around as well. You can see that from Alton into the Metro East for the most part. Otherwise, it is very light. It will be very brief. It's not around for too much longer. So expect that over the last few days, last week we were talking about temps in the mid-20s to start our mornings, and now as we start off our day, we've started off above freezing. And these numbers, if I showed you these numbers as our highs and stood in the way of the 20s, even if I saw the 20s, you could say, hey, that's pretty nice. That's a pretty nice day. Well, these are our lows, and that's why it's abnormal. As we started out at 49 this morning in St. Louis, that was the second warmest low we've had on record today. So pretty impressive. That's the scope of this warmth. And guess what? I'll be here tomorrow night saying the same exact thing, just Brent won't be here. That's the only difference. But, you know, for the most part, we do see colder air behind it, but it won't be here for a while. We're going to see that take a while to get here. So as we go through tomorrow morning, I think we're going to pause that and talk about how temps are in the upper 40s and low 50s again. So we're going to try to dry out. I can't guarantee that we're getting rid of this fog just yet. We still have that around. The wind is light. There's nothing to mix it out. And it's still very humid, all things considered, especially for this time of the year. But I am eyeing some rain for tomorrow evening. That will at least see a little bit for the first part of Sunday. You'll notice once again, no surprise, temps in the 50s. So let's go through sunset and talk about how we get close to 60 with that light southeast breeze at around 5 miles an hour. I do expect that once that storm exits, this one is working in its stead, and that's where we're going to see that chance for rain. Sunday morning, though, look by 6 or 7 o'clock. We've turned that to drizzle, and it's pretty much out of here. And what you'll notice as we go throughout the next several days, temperatures at 60 degrees, overnight 46. So once again, still above average of our high for the day. 57 with early rain, and then once again, most of the weekend is dry. I do think that rain returns by Monday into Tuesday, but once again, it's not going to dominate any portion of the day. But as we ring in the new year, we're going to talk about colder weather, finally, and I think that really is going to settle in as we head into next weekend. So, like I said, you know, if they've enjoyed it the last few days, you're going to enjoy it again tomorrow. That's the only difference. You won't be here.
I won't be here.
You won't be here, but I know you'll be tuning in on 5 Plus.
I will be tuning in on 5 Plus, and for the record, I've been here the past 6 days.
I know. That's why I know. That's why I know we've been saying the same thing, right?
In case we're keeping count. Gary, thank you. That's all of our time at 10, but don't go far. Now time for 5 on your sideline.